In the spring of 1873, a federal marshal rode through the wild lands of the Indian Territory and stumbled upon a scene so disturbing that he would never forget it. 17 bodies lay arranged in a perfect circle around the remains of a dying campfire. Every man had been shot once between the eyes. Every man held a single playing card in his hand. The marshal recognized some of the dead immediately. There were Pinkerton agents, Texas Rangers, federal deputies, professional hunters of outlaws. 6 weeks earlier, these men had ridden out together on a mission. Their target was a man the newspapers had begun calling the Black Devil of the Red River. Now they were dead, and the cards they held formed a coded message that would remain unsolved for more than 40 years. But to understand why these men died, you first have to understand the man they were hunting. His name was Jeremiah Walker, and once upon a time he was someone's property. Born into slavery in Mississippi in 1846, Jeremiah never knew freedom as a child. His mother was sold away when he was 9 years old. He never saw her again. At 11, he was sold to a plantation owner in Louisiana, who branded his initials into the boy's shoulder with hot iron. The mark would stay with Jeremiah for the rest of his life. Then came the Civil War. While the nation tore itself apart, Jeremiah saw an opportunity. At 15, he escaped. Alone and hunted, he crossed dangerous swamps and wilderness until he reached Union lines. There he enlisted in one of the first black military units of the war. For 3 years he fought. He learned to read. He learned military tactics. And he learned how to survive. By the time the war ended, Jeremiah Walker was no longer a slave. But freedom brought a new problem. Where could a black man go in a country that still hated him? The war had ended, but violence had not. Across Texas, Arkansas, and the Indian Territory, law and order barely existed. Former soldiers became outlaws. Bandits roamed the frontier. Freed slaves were attacked simply for being alive. It was a world ruled by guns. And Jeremiah Walker understood that better than anyone. By 1868, rumors began spreading across the frontier. Stories about a mysterious gang unlike any other. Its members came from every background imaginable. Former black Union soldiers, Comanche warriors, Mexican fighters, Choctaw scouts, even a few former Confederate guerrillas. Men who should have been enemies. Instead, they followed Jeremiah Walker. But what made them truly different was their target. Most outlaws stole cattle. Walker stole money. Railroad payrolls, bank vaults, corporate shipments, government gold. And after every robbery, something strange happened. Poor families suddenly received money. Freed slaves found gold coins on their doorsteps. Farmers who had lost their land somehow got their deeds returned. Children received books. Hungry families received supplies. It was as if stolen wealth was being redistributed across the frontier. To some people, Walker was a criminal. To others, he was a hero. The government saw something even more dangerous. A symbol. His first major robbery shocked the nation. A railroad payroll wagon carrying thousands of dollars was guarded by armed men and Pinkerton agents. The attack lasted only minutes. The guards later described eerie silence before the ambush. No shouting, no chaos, just sudden precision. The wagon was surrounded. The money vanished. The guards survived. But each one was left with a handwritten message. "We could have killed you. We chose not to." That message terrified authorities. These weren't ordinary bandits. They operated like soldiers. Disciplined, organized, strategic. Soon, the Pinkerton Agency assigned one of its best detectives to hunt Walker down. His name was Patrick Donovan. And at first, Donovan believed this would be another routine manhunt. He was wrong. Every lead disappeared. Every informant vanished. Every trail went cold. Wherever Walker traveled, people protected him. Black families protected him. Native tribes protected him. Poor farmers protected him. Even some white settlers quietly helped him. The deeper Donovan investigated, the more he realized something extraordinary. Walker wasn't hiding. An entire network was hiding him. Hundreds of people across multiple states were helping him survive. And they weren't doing it for money. They believed in what he represented. As the years passed, Walker's legend grew. He robbed banks, intercepted government shipments, hit wealthy businessmen who had seized land from poor families. Every victory made him more famous. Every success made him more dangerous. By 1869, federal authorities launched their largest operation yet. 40 heavily armed men rode into the mountains where Walker was believed to be hiding. Pinkertons, Texas Rangers, federal deputies, experienced fighters. They expected a quick victory. Instead, they walked into a trap. Under moonlight, gunfire erupted from every direction. The attackers were invisible. The federal force was pinned down. Within minutes, men were falling. By the time it ended, 16 officers were dead. The survivors surrendered. Walker spared them. Again, the defeated lawmen were stripped of their weapons and sent home alive. But the humiliation was devastating. The government now faced a terrible reality. Jeremiah Walker couldn't be defeated through force alone. And then something unexpected happened. Patrick Donovan began to admire the man he was hunting. The more he learned, the harder it became to see Walker as a simple outlaw. Walker wasn't enriching himself. He wasn't building a criminal empire. He was building something else. Parallel system. A network where poor people helped one another survive when the government refused to help them. That realization haunted Donovan. But his orders never changed. Capture Walker, or kill him. Then, in 1872, everything changed. A woman named Delia Ransom became pregnant. She was one of Walker's closest companions and one of the most respected members of the organization. For the first time in years, Walker began imagining a future beyond the fight. A home, family, a child. He wanted out. Quietly, he and Delia started planning their retirement. They purchased a small farm. They dreamed of living ordinary lives. After years of violence, Jeremiah Walker wanted peace. Eventually, Donovan uncovered the plan. Instead of launching another attack, he proposed something radical. A deal. Federal pardons. A legal future. Freedom. If Walker disbanded the organization. To everyone's surprise, Walker agreed. After years of war, he was ready to stop running. On a cold night in April 1873, Walker met Donovan in secret. The two men signed the agreement. They shared whiskey. They talked until dawn. Walker left carrying a federal pardon signed in good faith. For the first time in years, he believed he might survive. But fate had other plans. The next morning, a separate posse intercepted him. They knew nothing about the agreement, nothing about the pardon, nothing about the deal. Their orders were simple. Kill Jeremiah Walker. Walker showed them the signed pardon. The leader glanced at it, then threw it into the dirt. Moments later, Jeremiah Walker was shot, unarmed, defenseless, dead. The body was hung from a tree as a warning. The men responsible believed the story was over. They couldn't have been more wrong. Within days, news of Walker's death spread through the network, and something awakened. Riders carried messages across the frontier. No speeches, no explanations, just a date, a location, and missing playing cards. One by one, every member of the posse disappeared. Weeks later, their bodies were discovered. Each man shot once between the eyes, each holding a playing card, each arranged as part of a larger message. When investigators finally decoded the cards decades later, the message was chillingly simple. This debt is paid. Jeremiah Walker was gone, but his legend survived. His partner Delia fled with their child and eventually left America entirely. The network that had protected him vanished into history. No trials, no confessions, no records, only whispers. Today, most people have never heard Jeremiah Walker's name. Yet for years, he challenged powerful corporations, federal authorities, and wealthy interests across the frontier. Was he a criminal, a revolutionary, a folk hero, or something far more complicated? Perhaps that's why his story was buried for so long. Because some legends don't fit neatly into history books. And some men become too dangerous to remember, even after they're gone.